Bungie, I am once again asking you to up or fix the drop rates on the world drop weapons, like something is off. Today, I'm talking about the Sununa SI6. And this little sidearm right here is one of the weapons I've wanted the most. I'm going to go into detail as to why in a little bit, but I really like this thing. I've wanted to review it since the opening week, but here we are. All gameplay you're going to be seeing is with a 1600 power level, hammer forged rifling, ricochet rounds, stability masterwork, so it's max stability, perfect float, golden tricorn, and I really like it. 1600 power though, why is that you ask? Well, I don't know. That's right. Because when the expansion dropped, the gunsmith had this role. First week, first refresh. And after that, let's remember the gunsmith moves weapons in and out of rotation. And depending on the placement of the weapon, sometimes it's going to be re-rolled, sometimes it's going to be replaced. It was there week 1, never re-rolled, never replaced, never returned. Since then, I have one random roll of the Sununa since we first got the expansion week 1. Abysmal drop rates. And that roll? Envious Assassin Elemental Capacitor. There could be some play to that, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But this thing might as well never dropped at all. Like, that's a terrible roll. But Sununa, Stasis Omolon Adaptive Frame, a 3-burst. And the 3-burst Omolons are overall my favorite sidearm. They always have been. And when sidearms got their big update, I did a top 5 list. It included Drang. There were 2-burst. But in that video, even when Drang didn't receive its nerf, I placed the 3-bursts as the top option from me. And there's a reason for that. And even right now, as we're looking at a screenshot from that video, to this day, no one really uses them. You don't see them. Like Trespasser is nuts. Peace Bond is nuts. Because the deal with these, within their range, they duel and they duel exceptionally well. A ricochet round high stability 3-burst is my favorite. Hard stop. That goes all the way back to Last Dance. We've had Vision, we've had a ton of them. Which, by the way, like those old Kill Clip ones, they still hold their own. But in that space, these run about 15 meters. 16 meters. Yeah, Drang, Buzzard, others gonna have a couple meters on it. Those get up to 18, 19, possibly a little bit more. But within your sidearm range, they are spammy, they are deadly, extremely accurate from the air. Laughably accurate from the air, especially when firing from the hip. And the damage that it deals is pure stopping power. So if you haven't used a 3-burst in a bit, take one for a spin. Again, Peace Bond, Trespasser, Sununa, any of them. And on this one, when you look at the perks, we do have some special things here. Honestly, 4 things to look at. Some are surprising, and I can't get these rolls. That doesn't mean you can't or won't. I want you to be looking for them. So that involves the gunsmith, checking that daily. I always do. And if you're lucky enough to get that elusive world drop, let's take a look at a couple things. In that 4th column, let's start with Headseeker. I covered this in depth on High Albedo not too long ago. Sununa is going to make the 2nd sidearm to have Headseeker that we have currently. When Headseeker's on one of these things, the ease of use, lethality skyrockets. It's a glow up, 0.73 TTK at base. And with these things, there's immediate heat and pressure just from one burst. Triple 32s with rounding, it's about 95.9 damage. And Headseeker does a couple things. Once you land a body shot, you get increased damage and aim assist. It lasts about a half a second, meaning if you go body crit crit, the next following burst will be Headseeker damage of 35. So it could 2-burst, body crit crit, then triple crit. Otherwise, if you're not even doing that, these sidearms do have good base aim assist. This one has 67. So you're adding aim assist to those crits. It's just so good for dueling. And when you're working with that base TTK, it is 7 bullets, meaning a 3rd burst has to come out. So max resilience, you need 1 body 6 crits, tier 6 to 9, 2 body 5 crit, tier 5 and under, you can actually 2-burst with 6 straight crits. Let's move on to another perk that has a TTK shift. It's the roll right here, the one that you're gonna be seeing all video. Perfect float, golden tricorn, and golden tricorn is no joke. You only need a ×1. It is stasis. You aren't really worried about getting golden tricorn ×2, but if you do get a ×2, it's 48 per crit. Tier 5 and lower, 4 bullet TTK for a 0.37. All other resilience is a 3 crit, 2 body for 0.43. Melting. Deadly, but not really sustainable. And only this and the Fioratura have golden tricorn on sidearms. That's the rapid fire Void Suros. But at ×1, this damage, look what it does. First of all, you get a kill, it lasts for 7 seconds. That's like an eternity when it comes to a damage perk. It can be chained, and then that timer refreshes. Once you have golden tricorn, it can 2-burst anything. Tier 7 to 10 is 5 crit, 1 body. Tier 6 and under is 2 body, 4 crit. And this is paired perfectly with perfect float. 100 stability. If you have 10 tier resilience and perfect float up all at the same time, you have well over getting all of the flinch you receive more than halved. It's meant to go on streaks with. Again, very happy with this roll. It's one of the best, if not technically the best, but it's all going to depend on what you have. When we were talking about Headseeker earlier, we can bring up the other side. The third column perk, kind of iffy. Feeding Frenzy, not so much. Grave Robber, no. Envious, no. Possibly Slick Draw, but it's mostly going to be Perfect Float or Under Pressure. And what's nice about Under Pressure, when you get halfway in that magazine, you get huge accuracy help. So you pair that with, let's say, Headseeker or Golden Tricorn. It's starting to really put in a lot of work. The next thing to look at is going to be a little tie between Headstone and Elemental Capacitor. Now, Headstone, it's Headstone. We know what that does. You probably have a Peace Bond and some other stasis weapons, so not really too important, but we can take a look at Elemental Capacitor. This thing's going to have near 100 stability, or 100 because it has Omolon Fluid Dynamics. So we're not really talking about Void. You could do high handling, but really, I think it would actually go to Strand. If you have Elemental Capacitor plus, let's say, Extended Mag. Extended Mag is plus 10 airborne. You put on an Icarus Grip, and the weapon itself has 67 AE. Really, really good. So yes, that is a play. But the last interesting thing to look at is going to be Gutshot Straight. It's the first and only 3 burst with it, and within its range, again, spammy, 15, 16 meters and in. This is going to work extremely well. That base TTK, 7 bullet kill, but with that Gutshot damage, tier 5 and under, again, you can still 2 burst. Tier 6 is 3 body 4 crit. Tier 7 to 10 is 2 body 5 crit. There's a lot to like right here. A lot to like. In that range, body shots are going to be hit, crits are going to be hit, but that boost to body damage is going to give you a lot of easy use to hit your TTK. And to be completely transparent with you, I do love the 3 burst sidearms. And we need to understand on how I play Destiny. I use a ton of weapons. I'm always flip-flopping loadouts, trying different things, pairing exotics, which, side note, it's still extremely wild to me and funny. Like, I'll put a clip on Twitter with, let's say, Taraxa posts, but meanwhile, I'm doing like an iterative loop fusion review. There'll be like 6 comments people hating that I'm using a fusion. I'm like, well, the only thing I can think of is they just don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I get stuff, I review stuff, I'm going to be using stuff. Just so happens I'm going to make a video on a fusion rifle. That's how I do things. And I say that I rarely get to use what I actually like. I will take off meta stuff and sidearms into trials that aren't that good, or scouts, all the time to see how it does and what it needs. But if I didn't do this, if I didn't do any of this, a 3 burst would always be on me. And Sununa is one of those 3 bursts. I would be using this thing a ton, but I just simply don't have the time to. And what really sucks about this, all of this, is the new season starts on Tuesday. And if you're watching this video as we're in that new season, hopefully the drop rates have been upped at some point, but a long time has gone by and I play a ton of Destiny. Obviously, I've had 1 random drop of this thing. And when you look at the auto rifle, you look at the pulse like Battle Scar, you look at the GL with the stabilizing rounds. Everywhere I have looked, everyone I have talked to have all said the same thing. They are just few and far in between. And I'll say again, like, the world drop weapons are some of my favorites. That Battle Scar, I still use in all the GMs because it works on champions, kinetic tremors, shoot to loot. It's incredible. And a lot of people would use that, but there's no path to get it. And obtaining it is absolute pure luck. And then you have to land a roll. So that's what's a shame about Sununa. And that's why I want to talk about the 4 things. Because Headseeker, great on a 3 burst. Golden Tricorn, great on a 3 burst. Maybe get Elemental Capacitor. When you think Elemental Capacitor, you usually think Arc or Void, but I want you to be thinking Strand. I want you to be thinking AE if you get that to drop. Look for Extended Mag. Then also Gutshot Straight. So if the thing does drop, there's a 4 out of 6 chance you should take a look at it. And yes, it also has Pugilist. That's pretty cool too. Maybe get Grave Robber, Pugilist. You might be able to make that work. Since they're so rare, that's what I would be looking at and try them out. Each one's kind of cool. They really are. Headseeker, Golden Tricorn, Gutshot, really cool. And I hope you get one. And I think what's going to happen, if it continues like this, the Gunsmith at some point is just going to bring it. And at that point, I might make another video. I will definitely post it on the community post, but check that Gunsmith all the time and look for all these world drops there, because that seems the best way to get them. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about the Sununa down below, 3 burst sidearms in general. How are they working out for you? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am Cool Guy.